talented or we have this great potential, but we have to be committed to growth and transformation on a consistent basis. It is impossible to exemplify truths that have not first been embraced. And so we often talk, this generation, we're very big on your truth, and I hate that terminology because it's not your truth, it's the truth. And you cannot exemplify the truth until you embrace the truth. And so many times we want to try to reflect things that we have not embraced in our own lives. And so you got to embrace it. You got to be the first partaker of the product, and it's got to work for you before you can distribute it to somebody else. I've come to the conclusion that we don't need more inspiration. We need the courage to confront the underlying beliefs and behaviors that are undermining success and prosperity in our lives. Let me say that again. We don't need more inspiration. We need the courage to confront the underlying beliefs and behaviors that are undermining our success and prosperity. And so I don't know what those behaviors are in your life, but you know, and you have to make a decision that you're going to have the courage to come so that you can move to the next level. What you are unwilling to confront, you will never conquer. Write that down. What you are unwilling to confront, you will never conquer. And there are a lot of people that are not conquering anything in their lives because they are unwilling to confront it. And so you have to make a quality decision that you are going to confront the things that are standing in the way of your progress, your growth, your development, your advancement, and your evolution. We want a better life, but very few people are willing to build a better life. You don't just get a better life. It's something you have to build. You build it brick by brick, and you build it step by step, and there are no shortcuts that you can take in the process. And so you don't create a better life through avoidance. You create a better life by addressing barriers. Write that down. You create a better life not through avoidance, but by addressing barriers. And so I believe that confrontation is the greatest wound for change and transformation to happen in our lives. We want it to happen conveniently and comfortably and pretty, and we don't want any discomfort or anything that feels painful. But the reality is that there are certain things that we have to address in order to break through certain barriers in our life. Therefore, a better life requires honesty and confrontation. Let me say that again. A better life requires honesty and confrontation. So many people say, oh, Jamelle, I want to change my life. I want to transform my life. I want to shift my paradigm. That's wonderful. But are you willing to go through the confrontation and the honesty that it's going to take for you to get from where you are right now into the life that you want to live? When I started this series, I wanted to be open and honest from my life and journey, while also providing you with the strategies and insights to empower you to create a better life. This is what I know. Nothing destroys your life like denial. Write that down. Nothing destroys your life like denial. And the next thing I want to say to you, the question becomes, what are you in denial about? What are you in denial about? Because whatever you're in denial about is the thing that is ultimately going to define your life, feed your life. So what we have to do is we have to begin to deal with the things that we have been in denial about. You know, one of the great philosophers said, to thy own self be true. And the reality is that we know how to be truthful to everybody but ourselves. And so what we have to do is we have to come out of denial, and we have to begin to confront and face the hard truths about our lives, who we are, and why we are where we are at this season of our lives. Denial brings us temporary relief, but it also results in long-term pain. Let me say that again. Denial gives us short-term relief, but it brings long-term pain. And not only does it bring long-term pain, it brings a lifetime of regret, because you know that there are things you should be doing, opportunities you should be taking, doors you should be walking through, but because of denial, you stay stuck where you are and you don't move into the next place and the next season of your life. Dreams die without without development produce disappointment. Let me re-say that. Dreams without development produce disappointment, and hope without hard work produces hopelessness. Ambition without adversity results in abortion. What has to happen is we have to come to the realization that what you ignore has the power to inhibit your growth and development. Write that down. What you ignore has the power to inhibit your growth and development. And the reality is we don't have to look very far in our lives to determine and to see that there are some things that we have neglected and ignored. You know, it reminds me of the situation where you have a small leak in your home or your condominium or your apartment or your building, and it starts out really small and you ignore it, and it becomes bigger and bigger till all of a sudden you find your home, your apartment, your workplace flooded. Why? Because you neglected it in its infancy. And so many times we neglect things when they're small, and then they blow up into bigger things that defeat us and trap us and rob us of the ability to move forward with our lives. And so we say out of sight, out of mind, but the reality is that that's never the case, and that there's going to come a moment where that is going to occupy and master your life. And it's going to rob you of so much because you have not dealt with the things that you need to deal with in order to move forward with your life. And so denial is a delay to your destiny. Let me say it again. Denial is a delay to your destiny. And it's time for us to stop being delusional and to being direct about what's blocking our success. You know what's blocking your success. Nobody can answer that for you. Nobody can say that for you. Nobody can unpack that for you. We can listen to you. We can lean in. We can understand. But at the end of the day, what every person has to realize is that you are where you are because you choose to be there. And if your thoughts and your decisions have brought you here, your thoughts and decisions can bring you to a different life. I want people to always know that you are one decision away from a different life. And so if you decided on this, you can decide on something different and you can move your life in a different direction. But the reality is, if it's going to be, it's up to me. Nobody is responsible for your life but you. And ultimately, you are the one in the driver's seat. You're determining whether you live your life in neutrality or whether you live your life in overdrive. But at the end of the day, nobody has the ability to steer the course in the direction of your life but you. And in knowing that, until you are willing to face the person in the mirror, you will always live in jeopardy of forfeiting your potential. Let me say that again. Until you are willing to face the person in the mirror, you will always live in jeopardy of forfeiting your potential. I look at my life this way. There are all these incredible possibilities, opportunities, realities, doors, rooms, relationships, things that are possible and available to me. And then there's me and underlying beliefs, perceptions, psychological constructs, emotional wounds, scars, internal dialogues, all of these different things that have the ability to derail me from what's destined for my life. And if you and I don't do the inner work, then everything that's possible for our life will never manifest. We'll go through life, we'll fight the same battles, we'll be in the same mental warfare, the same emotional struggle, and those things will begin to fade away and dissipate and die, and we'll never accomplish them. And we'll get to the end of our lives bitter and full of regrets because we never did the thing that we know we were created to do. And so I don't want that to be the case for any person, but you have to face the person in the mirror. Some things have to be deconstructed before they can be developed. Let me say it again. Some things have to be deconstructed before they can be developed, and your life is one of those things. You have to deconstruct your life because a lot of us, if we're honest, we know that there are deficiencies, there are inadequacies, there are things in our foundation that are not conducive